Darling, are you awake? I brought the rest of the story. Do you want to know how it ends? Good. Well, I've been taking some notes and it is mostly improv still. But I really hope you'll like it. It's kind of silly, to be honest. Really? I love telling stories. So, how about you get in, you get cozy, get tucked in, put your head on my chest, and I'll just tell you the rest of the story. Does that sound good to you? Oh, that's my sweetheart. But before we start the story, I want to tell you a little bit about how much I love you. Is it okay? Good. Come here, happy. Now that's my good boy. Relax, sweetheart. Oh, I missed you so much the entire day. I mean, I know I saw you a lot, but I still missed you a lot. You know how much I love you. I love you so, so, so very much. You're my cute, my sweeter than honey, my love, my adorable, my precious, my cute, cute baby. Are you feeling comfortable? I love cuddling with you. I just love feeling you this close. I love it when you put your head on my chest. And my fingers can easily reach your hair. Play with it. Relax you. Yes. I love the sensation of your clothes underneath my hands. The fabric. The smell of it. I love the rain. I love everything about you, sweetheart. Did you have a good day? Was it? I'm sorry. Sorry if it was a little stressful. I'm sure you had some good times too. You're my love, you know that, right? Good. Now relax. Just let the weight completely lift off your shoulders. Know that I'm right here, watching over you. My good husband. Your wifey's not going anywhere. And now you relax. I'm gonna tell you the rest of the story. And you're gonna listen like a good boy. Good. Now, where did we leave Thomas? Right. It was midnight. It was his cottage. Clara was across the table with her teacup. The lighthouse was turning outside. The conversation was smooth, and neither of them wanted the evening to end. So, here's what happens next. Thomas looks up and sees that the clock on his mantle is ticking past midnight. And neither one has noticed, right? They're having a nice conversation. So Clara had apparently called the garage in town someone was gonna come in the morning to see the car. And Thomas, who probably hadn't had a guest in years, over 20 years, he made a third pot of tea. And he wasn't even asked. He brought some cookies too. Let's make them chocolate cookies. So, as he was getting ready, preparing the tea, getting some more chocolate cookies out, he looked at Clara, and she was at the window. She was watching the lamp turn, methodically, full circle. And then she suddenly asked, "How does it feel?" Thomas was stirring the tea at that point. He just looks at her and goes, "What do you mean?" And she says, to be the one who keeps the light. How does it feel to be the keeper of the light? Because that's a great responsibility. So Thomas thinks about it. And he takes his time. He's a very gentle, slow person. He thinks and thinks and thinks. And then he says, like breathing. And Clara just looks at him. She blinks and goes, "Like breathing." And Thomas says, "Yes, like breathing. You stop noticing that you're doing it, but if you stopped, then you'd notice that as well. Makes sense, So it becomes normal, it becomes a routine. After a while, you don't think about it anymore. But the moment it stops, that's when you'll know that you've lost it." So, Clara, instead of looking at the window, she turns to face Thomas again. But this time, when she does that, there's something different about her eyes. Her eyes are glowing, as if the light from the lighthouse was shining directly inside of her eyes. As he's looking into her eyes, he almost feels like they're familiar, and almost as familiar as the lighthouse itself. And without a single word, her eyes change. They become dark. They become much more familiar at that point. Her face kind of changes. Her voice changes. And suddenly, okay, before I continue, are you still with me, love? Are you still listening? Good, but keep your eyes closed. Don't open them, okay? And remember, breathe in, hold it, and out, slowly. You're just relaxing in my arms and I'm telling you the story. But the goal is to fall asleep. So don't stay awake just to hear it. And I promise, if you're a good boy and you fall asleep as you're listening to me, then I will repeat the story as many times as you want. Just try to fall asleep. So, before he can even notice what happened, suddenly her face changes, and now she's back to normal. She turns around and sees particles of orange ember in his fireplace, but neither of lit that place. So Clara sets her cup down and goes, "Mr. Thomas, did you light that?" And Thomas looks at the fireplace and goes, "No, I didn't." As they were talking, all the creaking in the house, all the wood, everything, you know how different items settle, especially if it's an old house. So the house kind of seems alive. All of that suddenly goes very still. Nothing else. As if like the house itself is holding its breath. All the while, the lamp outside is turning. Darkness, light. Darkness, light. Darkness, light. So Thomas keeps looking at the light, then back at the fire, then looks at the light again. And he turns to Clara to tell her something, but suddenly, Clara is not the quiet, same person that he saw before. She's pretty much the same height. She has the same dark hair, the same eyes, but she was ancient, not older. She seemed very young and very beautiful, but she felt ancient. And for a second, our old main character, Thomas, felt like he was nothing in front of her. As he was looking to her hair was a combination of black and blue, like the ocean, where you can see the reflection of the stars at night. There were cracks in her hair, and it was like waves going up and down. But her eyes, they were glowing, light, as if she was an embodiment of the ocean and the lighthouse. So it almost felt like the lighthouse had come to life and decided that she was gonna have tea with Thomas inside. And she starts speaking and her voice is almost echoing. And it goes, "Thomas." And his name in her mouth, it sounds so different, almost like out of this world. And she goes, "I think it's time we talked about why I'm really here." So Thomas is kind of freaking out at this point. Imagine like you're experiencing this. She's not scary. She seems very still and calming, like an authority figure. But still, it's not an easy thing to experience. Thomas can't believe his eyes and he starts to panic. But she looks at him and goes, "Calm down." And suddenly he's calm. So he sits down. His tea was shaking in his hand. Now you see, Thomas was living near the sea for 70 years. And he knew that when you have a guest, someone as important as this lady, some things are appropriate, like to listen carefully, but spilling your tea is not. So he carefully just puts his cup down, sits there like a good boy, like the good boy you are, baby, and listens. So, Clara, or the thing that wore Clara's shape, and she seems very kind, she folds her hands on the table, looks at him and goes, "I am the light," she says. "Not the lamp or the mechanism, but I am the purpose and the spirit of it. I am the the spirit, the beating heart of the lighthouse. And she explains, every 100 years, the lighthouse chooses a keeper, and it is not an accident. It finds the person whose devotion is structural, the person who devotes himself to us, a person with a good heart and good intentions who has sacrificed his entire life to devote himself to us. So Thomas just looks at his hands. He's not looking at her anymore. His head is down. And he thinks, 47 years of polishing brass, of climbing the same stairs, of making tea and checking the lamp and going to sleep alone. He did all of it for future generations, for people to be safe. So she asks, do you regret this? He thinks about Eleanor, his life. He desperately wants to be with her. But if he had the chance, he would do anything to just keep her with him. But would he change his mind about the lighthouse? No, he doesn't regret that. And he would do it all over again. But just with the difference, the only regret he has is letting Eleanor go. So the lady looks at him and goes, the light chose you, and I'm just the one that's sent to explain what that means. So she gets close to his hand but doesn't touch it, kinda hovers over it, and goes, you have kept your faith for a very long time, Thomas, and you never expected any reward or recognition. Without the thought or the life that you thought you had. Thomas doesn't answer. And outside, the lamp is still going. Darkness, light, darkness, light. So Clara says, you have earned it. Thomas just looks at her. He says, earned what? And she smiles at him and says, the right to choose again. Now, another check-in. Is my husband doing okay? Is everything alright? Are you sure? Don't try to fight it, sweetheart. Fall asleep. It's okay. Wifey is right here. Come here, baby. Forehead kiss. That's my good boy. So, Thomas asks what that means to choose again. And he knows better. He doesn't want to get excited because he doesn't understand it yet. So when he asks her the question, she just says, do you wish to agree? And he's waiting for her to explain more, but she doesn't. So he doesn't know what he's agreeing to. But he has this one chance, and you miss all the shots that are not taken. So he says he agrees. And then suddenly, the cottage shifts. He doesn't even understand it. But when he looks around, things are different. As if they were always this way to begin with. Then, suddenly, the blue shutters are still there. The mantle, the fireplace, everything is there. But there's also the calendar on the wall. He gets close to it and it says 1954. So he quickly looks down at his hands, and they're not his old hands anymore. Goes in front of his mirror, and suddenly, what stares back at him is young Thomas. He is not old. And Clara says, "You have a child, and it is simple." Then she goes towards him, looks him in the mirror, and he looks at her back in the mirror. And she says, "It is also not simple at all. You will be given one evening, the evening before Eleanor left. You will remember everything. You know everything. And now you will decide whether to hold on or to let go." So Thomas's heart, his young heart, which was apparently waiting 7 years for a permission to race, it starts racing. It's going wild. So he says, "What do you mean let go? I kept the faith, I kept the light, I kept..." And she says, "You kept the lamp. That was never in question. The trial is not about the lamp, Thomas. It's about whether or not you can tell her what you want to say out loud, things that you never told her." And Thomas understood something that he had never, not once, in all the letters, in all the evenings, in all the years, told Eleanor that if she needed to go, she could go. That he would be alright. That the love was not a debt that she owed him. He made her go with guilt. And he should go and try to change it if he wants to. He was supposed to give her the permission to come back to something free rather than something waiting for her. So, the trial wasn't really a puzzle. It was just one sentence that he never said. So, he gets ready, gets his best clothes. The environment is exactly as he remembers it. The sun is shining, the weather is warm, the meadows around. When he puts his foot on the grass, it feels wet, feels amazing. And he looks at Eleanor's house and he recognizes it. He goes to the door. He starts knocking, his heart pounding, thinking what she's gonna look like. Is she gonna be the same? Is it all a dream? And as he's knocking, he knows at this time he remembers that only she is at home. And with that, the familiar click, click, clack of her heels are heard. She slowly approaches the door. The door is opened. And what happens, we're gonna find out later. Because you are being a naughty, naughty boy. And you're not going to sleep when you're supposed to. Yes, I know. But that's not good. You were supposed to fall asleep. Not listen to the story, okay? I mean, of course I want you to listen, but you get the point. No, no, no. Don't be so bad now. Relax. You're my good boy. I'll tell you the story, I promise. But for now, just relax. We'll get to an amazing story later, okay? Now don't pout, baby. You know I love you, but you also need your sleep. So now, relax, get settled. Shh, good, my good boy. I love you so much. And it's all gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. And I'm not going anywhere. No matter what, I love you so much, honey. Shh. safe. 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 safe.